What's good, YouTube? Daryl G, we back for another one. Hey, welcome back. I'm glad you guys came. If you're watching, I appreciate it. I really do. Um, Today we're watching foods that only the rich can afford. It's starting to feel like if you want to eat it all, your ass have to be rich these days, man. The grocery prices and stuff are going up like crazy. Even these days with all the cooking shows on YouTube and on Food Network and stuff like that, every once in a while they'll throw an ingredient in on you that you just like, where'd that come from? They're like, oh, well, you need this special smoked paprika rolled in, gold dust or something. Just sprinkle a little bit of that on top. You check the price of that mug, you're like, man, wait a minute, that shit costs more than the meat. How the seasoning costs more than the doggone food I'm eating? So it's just interesting to see what they got going on. So let's go ahead and check this video out.
Eating the same old food? Fancy a taste of some of the finest ingredients money can buy?
Yeah, let's do it.
A meal like this one would set you back more than just a few $1,000s. Don't believe me? Stay tuned to find out about some foods that are only available to the rich.
Well, we know that caviar expensive.
Coffin Bay King oysters. Let's kick things off with one of the most
Not a big fan of
oysters
myself.
around.
I know it's supposed to be an aphrodisiac.
Unless you happen to be drowning in cash, these babies probably
like wet
aren't part
booger
of
sliding
your
down your
typical
throat
Friday night
raw.
dinner. There are many varieties of this legendary delicacy, but just one can be named the literal king of all oysters, the Coffin Bay King oyster. Grown exclusively on a farm located within a sheltered
that's a beautiful
peninsula
beach,
off the
man.
Australian west coast, these
Australia, okay.
wallet-busting mollusks come
gotta
with a
avoid them
hefty
sharks.
price tag of about $75 a pop.
$75?
After being grown for 6 years rather than the
6
usual
years?
18 months, each bad boy can weigh up to
Wow.
2 pounds, meaning
Wow.
they can have up to 10 times more meat than their run-of-the-mill cousins. Their strong aroma and complex taste have earned them the title of the oyster steak.
Yo, bro, you can't bring seafood products to me and say the thing that sells this over other stuff is strong aroma and complex taste. I'm sorry, bro, keep that seafood or that smell to yourself. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Nobody want no funky seafood.
Steak of the ocean. But if you want to shell out and see for yourself, you'll have to head down to Australia's Eyre Peninsula. Almost caviar. Oysters
Almost
are a great
caviar?
appetizer, but if you want to get real swanky, why not throw in some caviar? Behold the almighty almost caviar, which will set you back a cool $25,000 for
Damn.
a 2.2 pound tin.
For 2
Of course,
pounds?
the tin is made of metal, which has been bathed in 24 karat gold, so
Damn,
it's worth
we
every
getting the
penny,
cocaine
right?
prices.
Caviar is usually made from the eggs of the savruga, osetra, and beluga species of sturgeon fish. But this white caviar comes exclusively from the albino beluga sturgeon, which lives in the Caspian Sea.
Man,
Because their albinism is caused by a genetic disorder, albino belugas
can't be
are
that many of those out there,
extremely rare
right?
nowadays.
Yeah,
That
gotta be
doesn't
rare.
stop the filthy rich from dashing their chances of survival even more by eating their eggs anyway. The pearl-like eggs are extracted from the specimens over 100
I ain't even
years
think about
old
that,
and are
Joe. No, I ain't even think about that. So ain't that many of them to begin with, and then you eat the eggs on top of that. Probably only about 10% of those eggs make it. Maybe even be less than that. I mean, if they're that rare, you saw how many eggs fish can produce a lot of eggs. So maybe only 5% of them make it. And then your big ass is eating them. All the other stuff out there to eat, you gonna eat the eggs. They can't even reproduce, man. We about to make this species go extinct. They about to be
said
gone
boast
in no
an
time.
intense, nutty, creamy taste, best enjoyed on toast.
I can't eat anything where you got to stick a spoon up the animal's ass to get
can
it.
only be purchased
Just-
from one of the few select caviar house and Prunier
Not
stores
me.
in London. And did I mention it's commonly eaten with a pearl spoon? Bird's nest soup. Have you ever felt compelled to climb a tree and chow down on an entire bird's nest? Or better yet, take it home and turn it into soup?
No.
Believe it or not, bird's nest soup is a major delicacy in China, costing anywhere between $2,500 to $10,000 per kilogram.
See,
These
this
aren't
why
any
we
old
got
bird's
bird
nests,
flu and
but
shit.
the nest of swallows or swiftlets, which are made from 100% saliva. That's right, these birds make their babies home.
Come on, man. Saliva. Y'all paying $25,000 for some throw up. 25 G's for saliva from a bird's nest? Oh, come on, man. Y'all nasty. Y'all nasty, bro. Y'all,
Homes out of their
I ain't
own
got nothing else to say
solidified
about. Oh, that's
spit. And
nasty.
some culinary connoisseurs can't get enough of the stuff. When they're boiled in water, the delicate nests dissolve into a
It just looks
gelatinous
like
goop,
Jell-O.
which is supposedly perfect.
It look like
for
raw
soups.
Jell-O too. No
Yummy.
flavor, no
The
taste
asking
on it.
price of about $100
That
per
shit look
bowl can be
bland.
attributed to how hard the nests are to get a hold of in the first place. Climbers must scale the dark and dizzying heights of the Madai caves in Malaysia to scout for nests that are ready for
Man,
the
it
picking.
look like it got no
Ideally,
taste. Y'all ain't gonna
after
put no
one batch
soy
of eggs
sauce
is
on that shit or
hatched,
nothing?
but before a second. After
no
that,
flavor on it?
each tiny feather must be individually removed by hand.
Can I get that General
Hey,
Tso chicken?
Somani black chicken.
Chicken
isn't
nest.
the most unique menu item, but have you ever seen one like
I need
this
the orange
before?
chicken nest.
AM Somani chicken, which hails from Indonesia, isn't just coated in jet black feathers. It's totally black on the inside too.
Okay.
This Lamborghini
with you,
poultry
bro.
grows at a slower rate and supposedly tastes slightly better than your everyday kind. But Somanis aren't actually eaten for their flavor. The reason for its elusiveness
I don't
and
know if I could get
desirability
used to
is
that
the
black,
bird
though.
can be traced back to Japanese
I don't know.
folklore of the 12th century, where it was considered a mystical food of the elite. Its charcoal-colored blood is also rumored to bring power and wealth upon those who
Charcoal-colored.
consume it.
So the
Making
blood,
it a
everything black.
sought-after good luck charm in certain cultures.
Damn, that chicken
Somalis are
blacker
hard
than
to
me.
come by in the U.S., so the asking price can be up to $2,000 for a full-grown bird and $200 for a single newborn chick.
$2,000 for some
Kobe
chicken.
beef.
That's
Steak
rough, bro.
makes a mean main course, but if you want a truly premium experience, there's one kind that'll do the job: Kobe beef. These illustrious cuts of meat are procured from the Tajima-gu breed
Yeah, you
of
see this
Japanese
everywhere.
Wagyu cattle,
Every-
which are raised in the Kobe region. The animals are
Every
so
Japanese
well-esteemed
steakhouse
that
you
they
go to
live
say they
like
got
kings.
Kobe
They're
beef.
massaged daily, played classical
You know they
music,
lying their
and
ass off
fed
because
beer
it's
to induce
expensive.
their appetite. Kobe beef is renowned for its superior flavor, tenderness, and high amount of intermuscular fat, which contributes to its melt-in-the-mouth qualities. All Wagyu beef is rated on a marbling scale of 1 to 12 based on this distribution of fat,
Okay.
and Kobe beef only
Damn.
qualifies if it scores
That
between
look like
10
Freddy
and
Krueger
12.
face.
The luxury beef market has even been tainted by
got a
controversy
lot of
after
fat in it.
numerous establishments tried to pass off regular Wagyu beef as Kobe. With Kobe fraud rampant in the U.S., all cuts must now be assigned a 10-digit ID number so that it can be
Next time you go to the Japanese little steakhouse restaurant, ask them for that number. I bet they ain't gonna have it. Every time you walk in that bitch, the dude be sitting there. Yes, what kind of beef? Oh, Kobe beef. Kobe beef. I'm like, motherfucker, that ain't no Kobe beef. Hey, you got that from the Winn-Dixie down the street. Come on, player. Don't be messing with me. I couldn't even afford this meal if it was real Kobe beef.
traced back to the
Lying?
count
Would they
of
be
games.
lying?
Restaurateurs must also carry a license of authenticity that can be shown on demand. So if you're a beef aficionado, it's worth
That beef
checking
was dry.
before shelling out up to $300 for a single pound of meat. Blonde Aquitaine steak. For those rich enough to take a been there done that approach to Kobe beef,
Now, if your steak
perhaps
got that kind of
Blonde
name, it's got to be
Aquitaine
good.
steak is
Blonde
more your forte.
Aquitaine.
This rare beef is considered the most expensive steak in the world, and you can expect to pay about $3,200 for just one cut. The meat comes from prized free-range Blonde Aquitaine cattle and is produced by Parisian butcher Alexandre Polmard on his family farm in northeastern
So,
France.
one dude
the
makes it.
extortionate price tag is thanks to the technique Polmard developed in the 1990s to treat the meat. The cattle are hand-reared and free to roam the forests and grasslands of the French countryside, and only 4 are killed weekly. Each cow is then slaughtered humanely to make the process as stress-free as possible and to keep acidity levels at a minimum. The meat is then stored in a room and pumped with a constant stream of air at speeds of almost 75 miles per hour
Damn,
and
hurricane.
temperatures of negative 45 degrees Fahrenheit, where it remains in this state of forced hibernation for 15 years. To see if it's really worth it, you'll have to visit
Damn, so he
Polmard's
keep
store
his
in
food in
Paris.
Antarctica for
Very
15
few
years.
restaurants are
That's a
entrusted
long
with the
time,
beef,
bro.
and Polmard pays each
No wonder why
establishment
it's
a
expensive.
personal
He got to
visit
pay for
before
all of
they're
that
even allowed to
infrastructure
serve
for
it.
15 years.
La Bonat potatoes.
That's crazy.
The potato is one of the most humble
That's got
fruits
it. Better be
around,
good. That kind of
and that
price.
when it comes to the sought-after La Bonat variety, aka
Potatoes.
the world's most expensive potato. These spuds are so
That's crazy
well
to think a
regarded
potato
that
is
they're
expensive.
even known as the caviar
We
of the
run through them
potato
here in
world.
the U.S.
Why, you ask? Firstly, they're almost exclusively grown on the tiny island of Noirmoutier off the coast of western France, and only about 20 tons are produced yearly. Preparing them for sale is
That still
also an
sound like a
arduous
lot.
process because they're too delicate to be machine harvested, so each potato must be carefully hand-picked instead. With all the added effort it takes to get a hold of them, you might be wondering why La Banat potatoes are worth eating to begin
So
with.
they're too
Fans
soft
of
to
the
be
soup
ham
dips bud say the
to
sea
go through a
air and sea
machine, huh?
water, which acts as a fertilizer for the soil, gives the potatoes a hint of sea salt and even a suggestion of lemon. If you fancy La Banats for tea, you should probably know that they
Oh
sell for
man.
about $300
So they come
per pound.
pre-seasoned.
White truffles. If there's one thing capable of elevating a dish to new layers of prestige, it's truffles. These fragrant fungi
Yeah, you hear about
are some
truffles
of
all
the
the
world's
time, man.
rarest
All these cooking
delicacies.
shows. That's one of those
Even
things
the
they always
Romans
add to
couldn't get
food.
enough. Attributing them with therapeutic
Like anytime they
and
want to make a dish on the
aphrodisiac
Food Network
properties,
expensive,
white
they just
truffles, or
shave
the
some
diamond
truffle on
of the
that shit. They're
kitchen,
like, here's
are by
spaghetti
far
with
the
some truffle
best.
on it.
The knobbly
Baby,
white
get
mushrooms
rid
can
of that
only be
truffle.
harvested between October through December.
That meal
in the
went from
forests of
$5 to
Piedmont and northern
$50.
Italy, where they grow inches below the earth with the roots of hardwood
$10
trees,
a gram.
which means finding them isn't easy. Specially trained dogs or pigs, known as truffle coutures, must scour the forest floor in search of hidden gems below the earth. Scientists have tried and failed to domesticate white truffles, meaning you also won't be stumbling upon any in your local supermarket anytime soon. These
Good.
factors all contribute to
Too
the
expensive.
fervor surrounding truffles and the value their complex flavor can bring to risotto, pasta, and even foie gras.
You see what I'm saying? All they do is just put that stuff on top. Like I don't even understand how it's supposed to taste good. Like they don't mix it in with the food. They don't incorporate it into the food. They just shave that junk and put it on the top like some Parmesan cheese. So I don't know. I mean, I've never had truffles before. If you had truffles before, you put it in the comment section. You let me know, because I don't know. But I mean, how much can it really add? You just laying it right on top. I don't get it.
Just 1 pound of white truffles costs around $2,000. And in
That's
2009,
crazy.
a record-breaking single 1.6 pound specimen was even auctioned for an eye-watering $150,000.
Damn, y'all clean it first. Look dirty as hell.
Kopi Luwak coffee. Many people enjoy an after-dinner beverage, and if you're entertaining guests with particularly deep pockets, perhaps only Kopi Luwak coffee will suffice.
like granola
Legend has
coffee.
it this highly valued coffee was first discovered in Indonesia under Dutch colonial rule. Native farmers and plantation workers were forbidden from harvesting coffee for their own use and were left to scrounge around for it. That's when they
that's
made an
cold,
unusual
man.
discovery. Civet cats would eat coffee cherries and poop out the seeds, or coffee beans, without
Ain't it funny how everybody want everything that that slaves and indigenous people and those that were thought of less than and could not have nothing. They invented all these ways of having things like ribs, cooking certain meals certain way, oxtails, a lot of these stews and stuff like that. Now all of a sudden, everybody got money and everybody want to come up. Now they're spending more money on that stuff and the stuff that the old indigenous people used to eat and slave people used to eat than the stuff that they grew up eating, that they were allowed to eat. They don't want that stuff no more. They want to go back to the old school ways of, hey, tell your grandma to cook me up a little something or whatever. I want to eat some oxtails or something. No, your people wouldn't eat no damn oxtails. And now they want to sit here. They didn't let these people have coffee. So now they want to take all the, they saw that, oh man, how they getting coffee? I don't understand how they getting coffee because we ain't giving it to them. What the hell is they doing? Let's find out. They go run their ass out there and realize that these people are doing something that tastes better than what they ever had in the first place. That's just breeding ingenuity. When somebody tells you can't do something, you always find a way around it. That's just the human, the condition. That's just how we are.
digesting them. After brewing coffee from the discarded beans, they realized it tasted great too, mostly because the civets picked only the ripest cherries.
You gotta really want
continued,
some
and
coffee
nowadays
though. If you
vendors of
gonna eat
authentic
coffee
Kopi Luwak
poop,
coffee can command anywhere between $250 to $1,200 per
I
kilogram.
don't know, bro.
There are some controversies surrounding
If I
the
saw that swimming
unconventional
and floating in the
beverage,
pool,
though.
I'd be
Primarily,
out.
civet
I'd
cats
be
are
gone.
nocturnal and don't have big appetites, which means more than 80% of Kopi Luwak
That's
coffee
Hershey
sold
bar.
in the U.S. has never
That
actually
Snickers bar
passed
floating in
through
the
one.
water.
Attempts to industrialize the process also means many civet cats are caged and force-fed the berries round the clock,
Oh,
which
come
results
on,
in crappy
man.
coffee made by very crappy people. Densuki black watermelon. After a meal as rich
Some
as the
things
one I
aren't meant
just
to be
laid
done
out,
on a
a
large
fresh
scale,
fruit
man. You gotta
salad
leave
is
that
about as
alone.
much dessert as you could manage. This won't be any old fruit though. Duh. First up, the Densuki black watermelon. These rare melons are
Okay.
exclusively grown on the northern island of Hokkaido in Japan in annual quantities of about 10,000 units. Besides their intriguingly dark outer appearance, they're said to have crisper flesh,
looks
more
cool.
juice, and an enhanced sweetness compared to their overseas relatives. There's a lucrative market for decorative fruit in Japan, so it's not uncommon for densukis to be purchased as expensive gifts. Depending on the size, they usually go for upwards of $250. But in 2008, one fine specimen even sold for $6,100.
$6,000 for a watermelon.
Melon. Even the Densuki is a bargain compared to Japan's most highly priced melon, the Yubari King, which is basically a cross between two cantaloupes. This esteemed fruit is also exclusively grown on Hokkaido Island and is a major status symbol for
I like honeydew, but I don't mess with cantaloupe too much.
Collection. In
smell like armpits.
2016, supermarket owner Takamura Konishi hit the headlines after he pocketed a pair of Yubari Kings for the eye-popping price of $27,240.
Y'all got too much damn money on y'all hands. Y'all need to slide me something, man.
But what does one of these premium fruits taste of? A gold bullion? Apparently, they just have an ultra-concentrated sweetness. Konishi said he offered such a fee for the melons to pay back the hard work of the Yubari farmers. But even a less coveted buyer can still expect to pay thousands at auction.
I mean, that's what he said. He could have just handed them the cash and been done with it, you know.
And in 2019, Takamaru Konishi raised eyebrows again after paying $11,318 for a bunch of ruby Roman grapes, which worked out at around $370 per grape. This rare variety is lauded for its juiciness, high sugar content, and low acidity.
Should be juicy. Look how big it is.
About the size of ping pong balls thanks to years of selective breeding. When they first hit the market in 2008, 700-gram Ruby Roman bunches sold for around $910, and their price has only skyrocketed since.
I'm in the wrong business, man.
Donkey cheese. A cheese course is the perfect way to complete a meal, but for a banquet
any food
like
that starts with the word donkey
just won't cut it. Believe it or not, there's
tastes
such
like
a thing
ass.
as donkey cheese, otherwise known as pule. And it'll cost you a pretty
I
penny.
ain't even let it call
This
fuel,
bizarre
man.
creation is only produced by
Shit they
farmer
call-
Slobodan
that's
Seven
named
on his
Pule.
rural farm in Serbia with the help of
Pule
some
some
300
Pule?
donkeys
Nah,
from the
bro.
Zasavika
Nah, I'm
Nature
good,
Reserve.
homie.
It's esteemed for its supposed healthy benefits with claims that it's high in protein, calcium, and omega-3 fatty
It's
acids.
cheese. Of course it's high in
Getting milk
protein.
from the donkeys isn't easy because only about 20 animals produce it at one time, and it takes several gallons of milk to make 1 pound of cheese. This is because their milk doesn't contain enough casein, the characteristic that thickens it into curd, to make the cheese the traditional way. Thankfully, Semic has a
casein's
secret
protein.
method to make the cheese, but it comes at a price. Each kilo sells for about $1,110. That's a lot to pay for literal ass cheese, don't you think?
Hey, yo, that was a good video though. But yeah, nah, man, these people got too much money on their hands. It's ridiculous, man. I mean, to spend that much money, I mean, talking about thousands and thousands of dollars for basic stuff you could already get. I mean, like the dude that people buying coffee, and then y'all taking the animals and you're force feeding them coffee beans so that they can shit out some more of the special coffee. Come on, man. Y'all didn't want it when you had it. Y'all had it. You know, all the indigenous people there had it. Y'all didn't want to give them the regular coffee. Y'all didn't want it then. Then all of a sudden you discover something new. Oh man, they out here doing it big. Out here in the field doing it big. We got to steal that too. So you stole the coffee from them, then you want to steal the shitty coffee from them. Damn, that's cold, man. Hey, but yo, that was a good video though. I appreciate you guys coming and checking it out with me. You know, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Y'all know how this works. Put in the comments sections what you may want to see, and you know, any suggestions how to make it a little better. You know, it's whatever. I'm always open to things. But I appreciate your time, and I'm out. Peace.